What's going on, everyone? This is another episode of the You Want It, You Got It podcast. Today, I am sitting with Bruce from the band Empire. Bruce, what's going on, bub?
Russ, how are you, buddy? Good to talk with you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for reaching out to me, man. It seems like once I dropped the episode with Brent from Taken Days, and I need to thank him for that. But it's like I got a window of, or not a window, I got a bunch of knocks on my door saying, "Hey, man, can we be on the podcast?" Hey, man. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm actually got enough episodes recorded and banked that I'm good technically till the end of April.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I had to work a little harder because I try to do 2 a week and I'm going to be gone for 12 days. So I'm doing double duty. So yeah. But anyway, Bruce, man, like I said, thanks for taking the time out. Tell me about yourself, man. Like, tell me about your background in music.
Sure. I'm from Boston originally.
Oh shit. Okay.
And that's why I'm repping the.
I can see that now. Yeah. Now I see the green. I was like, okay.
But I moved out to California in 2008. But I've been in and around music since my early teens, and I think didn't really start taking off with it until I got out here. I think it's what 16, 17 years now. I've been living out here in California and being in and around the scene, you know, whether it's like high desert doom metal bands that I played bass in, this band called the Sleeping Sea King. It's kind of like Caius meets Queens of the Stone Age kind of a deal. And that was fun for a hot minute. And but I've been in and around the punk and skate punk and hardcore scene out here for years. Even when I didn't have a band, I would book and put on shows of just lineups that I dug. And starting to see a little bit of momentum going. And then this thing called the pandemic hit, and that just torpedoed everything. But, you know, you spend years making those connections. You know, that's why, you know, when you did have Brent on from Taken Days, you know, that's part of how I knew him was through that. Just like, oh, I dig this band. Let me book these guys, you know, and they were sweet guys, great dudes, great music. You know, they work with Cameron Webb, who I've had the pleasure of working with, as has my wife. My wife is Brenna from The Last Gang, and he's a great guy to work with. He'll pull it out of you, and if you're not prepared, it's going to be a long day at the office with Mr. Webb. You know, so but yeah, it's kind of my deal with music, man. Like I got hit up in May of 2023 by my buddy Danny, who used to be in a band with Brenna called Fiction Reform. And Danny's been in and around the punk hardcore scene in SoCal since like the early 90s. So he knows fucking everybody. And he's like, yo, I got this dude, Jay, who's from this hardcore band Outspoken. And we're looking to start a project and we need a guitar player. And at the time they had one, and we did like one rehearsal with the guy, and the vibe just wasn't there, but it was straight up hardcore music. And so when that guy left, I had written a couple of songs that kind of weren't hardcore. They were more like Against Me, Bad Religion than I would say hardcore. And I showed it to him, and that session, we wrote like 3 of the songs that ended up on our first LP. So our first release, all in that same session. So 3 songs were just done immediately. And I don't know how much of the history you want me to get into, but that's
man, yeah. I mean, whatever you want to talk about, I'm game to listen. So wait, real quick, Outspoken, like the Outspoken, the hardcore band from okay.
Yeah, Jay's the bass player in Outspoken, and he still is. Oh. So when they do reunion shows or whatever, Jay goes and does it. Yeah, Jay Hansel.
That's pretty cool, man.
He's the man. We love Jay. He's a maniac, and we love him.
Everything. It's just so funny. Like all these bands I've been talking to the past couple of weeks, it's like everything has a hardcore root, or somebody came from a hardcore band that's in this band, or you know, every member of a pop punk band or a punk rock band or any kind of SoCal punk, whatever, always has a hardcore kid in the band, you know?
It's true, man. That's what's kind of unique about this band, dude, is like I came up with everything. Like I came up with Tribe Called Quest. I came up with Bane. I came up with like this band Eastside from Worcester, Massachusetts. Like, and then
Oyster.
I got into like Minus the Bear and all those cats, Radiohead. But then I also was a metalhead, so I have Metallica, Pantera, all that shit. My hair used to be down to like here and fucking all metal riffs all the time, jazz, all that shit, man. So like in this band, like I'm the chordy jazz weird chord guy. Jay's the fucking he'll shit a rainbow with melody, crazy bass lines guy. Our other guitar player, Cam, is like our foundation, who also is recording and mixing our new record. And then we got a keys player now. And then Danny's just a human metronome on drums, dude. So it's a good setup.
You play guitar and sing, correct?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So you said Boston, that area. Do you know any of the dudes in Since the Flood?
I don't. No, I don't.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I used to book them back in the day. Come through Nashville, they crashed at the crib. We'd hang out and stuff. I still talk with their guitar player Dave all the time. He's the guitar tech for Dropkick Murphys now.
Oh, so right on.
Yeah, always out on the road with those dudes, But no, it's just like, and I listened to this other podcast I've been jamming lately called The Disruptor. It's this dude who was ex-military who was actually stationed where I'm living currently for a couple of years, and then he got out of that and joined the police force where he was doing like gang task stuff, whatever. But he grew up on that whole East Coast, so he knows all the like the 80s Boston bands and 90s, like all that scene, because he grew up in that era. He's around my. Wait, are you in your late 30s, 40s?
I just turned 40. Yeah.
Okay, so you're in your yeah. I'll be turning 50 this year. So
hey, there we go. All right.
But you know what thing is about this music world? There's no age limit to it.
No,
there's no age.
Good music's good music. If you give a shit on stage, no one gives a fuck about your age, man. I mean,
no, if you make it worth their while and you give them a good show, they're gonna fuck with you.
Yeah, man. Lee Ving, the dude's 75 and still booking and killing it.
Fucking Vinny Stigma turned 70 this year in December, and he said he'll be on tour in Europe when he turns 70. It's crazy.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. No, I was fucking around in like the early 2000s, but that's also when I was on like the Northeast pro wrestling scene too. So I mean, like that whole
I did see that.
Yeah, that whole time frame was a bit of a blur, but like. No, I'm talking like local bands, man, like Capital 7 or cats like that. I mean, my boy Godilla is still working and doing hip hop in Boston, and there's the name of my buddy's band, and I'm spacing on it right now. I'll message it to you later, but they're still on and firing. Well, this new version of them is on and firing, but yeah, it's never too late, man. It's never too old to do it. I mean. I think the stuff that I'm doing now with Empire is the best stuff I've ever done, so it only took 28 years or whatever the fuck it is to get to this point.
I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed what I heard. Definitely. When you hit me up that day, I went and listened to everything, and that song Money, which that's the latest. That was the new single, right? Money.
Yeah, that's the first single off the new record. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good stuff, man. But then that the Finding Calm in Chaos is a great album too, man. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I was not disappointed. It was good. I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to you. I'll be honest, and I really enjoyed what I heard. And honestly, my ears have been getting open to a lot of new music recently with all these newer bands that I've been checking out, because I've always been in my music's like yours everywhere. I like it all. Good music. I started with hip hop, then I got into Metallica and Iron Maiden, then I got into punk rock, and then it just fucking went from there. I'm going back to like my roots, like the 90s. That 90s era of like punk rock. That's just what's always felt comfortable to me.
Sure. What do we call that? The Epiphat era. So you're talking about like no face to face, like that whole that whole batch. I got you. Yeah, I got you.
You know, Green Day, all them bands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean that was a good era because I used to skateboard, so those were always in the skate videos, and that's how you find out a lot about bands back then were through skate videos or Thrasher magazine or MTV. But
It's a resurgence, man. Like we hear that all the time now. I mean, not just around us, but like if I'm, at other shows or whatever, that shit's making a resurgence. 90s punk or 90s alternative or whatever, it's kind of making a bit of a comeback. Now, granted, you still have like new ways of doing it, like bands like Idols, who I fucking love. Like,
yeah,
they're so good, put in a new spin on it and a new angle to it. And then you have like Turnstile, who was, you couldn't get more hardcore than those dudes. And now they went more melodic and they're still fucking great. Like,
they still got their roots, they still got them hardcore roots in them, but they're such a fun band, man. Like, I don't care what anyone says. People talking, I don't think anymore as much because they realize it's still Turnstile. But when that new album came out, everybody was like, whoa, what the fuck is this shit? This is not Turnstile that we remember, but it's a great record. I ain't gonna lie. I wore that album out when it came out. It's just a great record, man.
Sure. Yeah. Well, people said the same shit about Glassjaw. Anytime Glassjaw would drop something new, someone like, wait, what is, and then after like 2 listens, this is the best thing they've ever done. I mean, I'm a worship and tribute disciple, but I mean, like, and they haven't dropped a bad anything, so they can't do any wrong.
Glassjaw is a great band. It pisses me off because every fucking time that they're supposed to come to Nashville, Daryl gets sick or they got to pull out. So, they're on a good majority of the Poison the Well reunion shows. And that tour's coming to Nashville. But guess who's not on it? Glassjaw.
I'm sorry, dude.
So I was like, I wanted to go see Poison the Well because they're always a fun band to watch live and they still throw it down at their age. I don't care. I don't care now. I'm like, if somebody has a ticket at last minute, I'll go. But I want to see Glassjaw. I want to see them.
I got, it's crazy as I've only seen them once, and they came to the observatory in Santa Ana here in Orange County. Oh, nice. And they're still doing the deal where like they just have a red light on behind them, like a red light, and then that's it. And then the whole set is just like a fucking gospel blur of just genius, hardcore, melodic, It's so good. It's so good. They're all so fucking good. I mean, I know they've gone through a few members, but the closest thing I can describe them to seeing them live is I got to see Dillinger Escape Plan once, and that was like basically like a knife fight for 45 minutes.
Now, which era of Dillinger did you see?
This would have been. I know when it was. Incubus just dropped Morning View. And why I know that is because dude, had the mic and he goes, this album just came out from fucking Incubus. And he had like the CD insert and he wiped his ass with it. And then they started on the next song and like, he didn't stage dive, he stage runs. So he just fucking ran into the crowd after doing that. And that was just, what is that, 02, 03?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that album. I'm trying to look that album up. That's hilarious. But you know what, though? I mean, Incubus is so good. I don't care.
They are. Yes, they are.
So Morning View came out in 2001.
Okay, so it was 01, 02 then. And I know my favorite from them is Crow Left of the Murder. That's the one that came out after Morning View. People shit on them because they got popular. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I like Nickelback because I don't. But I mean, you find that, right? You find that like they'll sell like millions of records, and Nickelback and like Creed and all these bands like everyone hates, but somehow they sold fucking millions of records. It's like, come on, man, you were into them.
They might not be our cup of tea, but hey, you know some of the lyrics. Or all the lyrics to a Creed song.
Oh, you do. We all do.
And then you're like, how the fuck do I know this? how do I know this song? I don't own any Creed. You know,
That's good PR. That's good marketing right there.
I ain't gonna lie. I watched the Nickelback documentary on Netflix and kind of got a little respect for the hustle that they did back in the day. Man, they busted their ass to get where they are. I'll give them that.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, they're Canadians. Hey, if it wasn't for them, Roadrunner Records may not exist.
I didn't know that. All right, I didn't know
because they were because they were on Roadrunner when they made it big. So they just kept feeding all that money. That label just kept making all this money because of them. So
wasn't Slipknot Roadrunner?
But it was right. It wasn't when they were that big yet.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I got you. I got you.
But yeah, Nickelback. Because I remember when Slipknot first toured on Ozfest. My roommate went. And he's like, dude, you'll never believe this band I saw. They're all wearing masks and jumpsuits and they're fucking crazy. And come to, MTV was like, the new big thing, Slipknot. They went from, being the openers on the small stage to being the headliners on the small stage because they were just that big of a band. Selling all their merch out. I'm like,
dude, they came through Worcester at this festival called Loco Bazooka. This was like 2001, and I was fucking young, right? I was like 16 or something like that. And I remember I showed up early to that festival, so early that they threw a security shirt at me. And I got to fucking work that show. And it was the red jumpsuits. Corey still had his first mask. Joey was still alive. Clown, like everyone was still, it was the OG unit.
Yeah.
And his that was one of the many shows because it was a summer show that when Corey came off stage, he had trouble getting his mask off because part of it melted to his face. And I guess that happened a lot to him. And but they were super, super nice dudes. He's he's a huge wrestling guy, Corey Taylor.
Yeah.
Fucking loves pro wrestling.
Didn't they on Knotfest one year? Was it NXT that was part of Knotfest one year, or NXT was on one of those shows or something? But well, let's talk about that. You said you did a little wrestling, huh?
Yeah. I worked the Northeast circuit. I got trained by Maverick Wild, and I worked for like RDW and these little indie leagues out of Boston in the Boston area. And then I fucked my neck up and stopped for years. And then in 2021 or 22, I started training again with Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy out here in LA. And they produced like Brody King, Jake Atlas. The Young Bucks debuted with them on their first show.
Oh, cool.
So I'm an on-screen character for them now. I'm kind of like the authority figure for them on their shows called Fight Night. And we have a show this Thursday it's like every 2 weeks, but then we do like our big shows like the LA Rumble. And like we're a good way of looking at it is we're a school. So we're a minor league club for, Paul Levesque and Tony Khan. So, but it's not just, it's like we produce refs, we produce,
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it's the whole deal. And I came up with them in the ring, and I would help out with the shows and teach the kids how to run sound and put on a show and shit like that. And so now I'm an on-screen. I'm a good guy, but I guess you could say people are looking at a bad guy. But it's all perception. Not my fault. People want to throw shit.
I could totally see you being a heel. I can see.
Okay.
It's cool to see though, like with the wrestling world nowadays, it's always been there, but it's more on screen now. How the wrestling and the hardcore and the metal and all that shit is like, it's all there together now. You got all these bands that are doing intros for Brody King and them on AEW that are, writing music for them and Colin and what's Colin's brother's name from Twitch and Tongue, those dudes. But they did some, intros. Damn, what the hell was that band called? Not 100 Demons. Eyes of the Lord. They do one of the intros of the newest faction that Brody King has out. But
right on. Okay.
Yeah, it's cool to see. He was Brody King from God's Hate. And then you had what's his face from Every Time I Die.
Oh yeah, no, everyone knows him. He's man. I miss that goddamn band. It's such a bummer they broke up.
Oh, they're so. What do you think about the reincarnations?
Eh,
Which one do you like better?
brother, give me their Low Teens, that lineup that produced fucking Low Teens. I know it's one of their more recent ones. It was like what, 2016, 2015. That album, that riff that starts that fucking album is one of the heaviest thing. Like, it's so fucking good, dude. Like, it's so good. And my boy Tyler Bateman has done a lot of work with. I can't believe I'm spacing on his name now. Also,
Yeah.
wrestling wise, I'm fucking.
Is it Andy?
Yeah.
Andy. Yeah, that's his name, Andy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so good.
I feel like every one of their albums just got better and better and better. And then when they released, was it Radicals? Is that the last album they did?
Yeah.
That was, man, it's like, fuck. It's like they released it and then we really didn't get to see them perform it. It's so depressing. It was such a great album too. Their first album, Last Night in Town, I actually used to have a webzine called The Pincushion, and I got it from that album, the title Pincushion from there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I got taken off. I got a cease and desist from Lamb Goat because I didn't credit that. I didn't credit them from where I got my source from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. I'm like, I didn't fucking know. I was just some fucking kid who's like, I'm gonna make a zine. I just look at all the other web zines and take the information and interview bands. Fuck. I didn't. Sorry, Trustkill. Or Lamb Goat. Sorry, Lamb Goat.
That's
that Lamb
deal.
Goat.
Even when you come up, like when we came up with this band name, you got to like sit online for like a fucking hour, just making sure that no one has it, or if they do have it, they're not like, they haven't done anything in years. Because people nowadays will just make a fucking social media page like Instagram or something, and then the band breaks up. So you'll see like, oh, there was this band called that in like 2015, and that's the last thing that they did, or whatever,
Yeah, my band had that problem. That was the intro that you heard there. That was my band. We're no longer a thing anymore, but might as well use your resource. If you got the song to use for your podcast, that's called You Want It, You Got It. Might as well use the song where the title came from. But during MySpace days, we had our Taken Under page. Our band was Taken Under. And so we had these kids from Atlanta start up a MySpace page, and they weren't even slick about it. They used our logos, they used everything as their shit. Well, we had 25,000 followers and shit. So I was like, hey guys, do us a favor and fucking get on these dudes. That page was gone within like a week. Those kids, and they were young kids too, like probably middle schoolers. But I was like, oh hell no, we got enough people out here. They attacked them and they took their page down. But you can use my logos that I made. Like I know those are my logos, But it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, I get that, but that's also, it leads you, at your age and my age, we're still of that group, the pre-social media era, and in some instances, almost the fucking pre-internet era, where you'd have to you were regional. What was going on in your hood, what was going on in like your city or maybe a few cities away from you. If I had to drive 45 minutes growing up, I thought that was an eternity.
Yeah.
Now that's just called going to the grocery store here in California.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Your perspectives change. And so everything that we do, it's in-house, specifically for this new record. Like we're recording it ourselves, we're mixing it ourselves, and then we're having Paul Miner master everything because he did our first record. He mixed it, recorded it, mastered it. And we looked at, we only have so much money. We did just get signed to a label, which is cool, but there's only so much money. So it's we wanted to take the money and spend it on touring and on new merch and shit like that. So the cat, Cameron, who I mentioned, our other guitar player, Cam, he's done sound. I mean, he's worked with Kevin Smith, Silent Bob, and he's done his own records for his old bands like Piss and Blood or the Overrides back in the day, and he's ours, and it's all DIY and in house. The logo design, like we're not outsourcing. We did outsource for Finding Calm in the Chaos. Tokyo Hero, who's done like Motorhead album covers. I mean, the dude's done a fuck ton. He's done a couple tattoos on me, and he's a buddy. And he did that skull that's on that record. But otherwise, it's in house. Like everything's done because you just want to make sure you own it. You're not ripping anybody off. You're sure as shit not using AI art. Like that's not us. Like we're doing it all.
And you can tell that you can really tell the AI art, in my opinion, man. It all has that similar kind of it's like it has a cartoony feel to it, but I mean everything just looks the same, in my opinion. I have a friend, his band uses nothing but AI arts, and I'm just like, man, that just sucks. Because there's people out there that can really do good drawings out there, man. Just any local tattoo artist would love to work with a local band or something, or have a t-shirt that they design for that band.
The guy that's one of the heads of our label, Justin, the label's called Hay Fever Records, and it's Justin and Moki. They're in a band called Hartwells, but Justin's owned his own tattoo shop out here for a minute. He's from Chicago originally, but he, like, when we were first signing our contract, we're allowed to do whatever we want. Like it's an amazing partnership. But the one thing that he was like putting his foot down on was no AI art, which we don't do anyway, because we have friends that are tattoo artists or just artists, that like we have, a new shirt design in the works that my buddy who's a tattoo artist has been working on, but that's what I mean by it's all in house. It's either done by someone in the band or by a friend, that's good with a pen, sort of a deal. No, not the AI deal. If anything, if there's a contract thing, we may use Chat GPT to make sure our legal piece is right. But
I had a right to get like I was doing a proposal for to get like a partnership with the company, and I typed it up and I was like, man, I sound really dumb. So I used ChatGPT to make it sound smarter. And, they just changed certain words to make them sound better, but they didn't change anything I typed. They just changed the words, I gotta look smarter than I am,
Don't we all do?
Yeah. So the name Empire, where's that name come from?
We were looking for a name, and we're not terribly enthused by what's been going on politically lately, specifically. Okay. And ideally that name is to speak to just almost like colonialism. So if you have someone come, here's a good example, like what the Spaniards did to the Aztecs, if you really want to go deep into the history books, they just showed up, scared the shit, and wiped these fucking people out, and ended up wiping them out with disease. And you look at places now where you just see like abandoned buildings, or like what's happened. We love San Francisco, right? The city is like our second home. We've had great shows up there. One of the shows we played up there was at Edinburgh Castle. And it literally was like Arkham City outside of that place, where you had trash can fires. There was a dude sitting in a Beamer smoking crack, like where the band's parked. And it was the most like, if anything could say like a civilization getting empired, it's a guy sitting in his BMW smoking crack, like, and how they're they're raising all the costs on buildings. Yeah. So people are like, can't afford to live there anymore. So they're leaving, but no one can afford to move into those spots. So you have just like blocks of San Francisco that are vacant. I'm doing a rewatch of The Wire right now, and it totally reminds me of like where you would see Bodie or fucking Avon or Stringer like running around and doing deals in. And so we don't I know you asked me that question. We don't go out of our way, to our lyrics mean a lot to us, and we speak about it, whether it's Cam, J, or I. We there's something behind all of our lyrics, but the name is just basically saying, it's almost like a warning, like do what you can to support each other, to be good to people, to avoid being empired. Don't be ruled, because that only leads to sand and ash at the end of the day. You be good to somebody right now, and that means way more. That's my long-winded answer, dude. So
you're good, homie. I like, though, sometimes, even though we're, whatever, we're all going through this thing now, but back in the 80s, man, a lot of good music came out during the Reagan era, you know what I'm saying? Then a lot of good music came out during the Bush era. And right now there's a lot of fucking good music coming out too. So when people, when we all don't agree on certain things, some music is the way to get it out, and a lot of good music comes out during that time.
Yeah, there's definitely so much truth to that statement, and we're no different. There's a lot we have to say on this. The singles that are coming out, money. I mean, it's about capitalism and the damage it does. And like the video that we dropped is kind of speaking to that. We're making fun of opioid pills, we're making fun of dick pills, we're making fun of McDonald's, we're making fun of like what mortgage companies do to the elderly. It's us like kind of poking the bear of capitalism, but online betting, all that stuff's in there. And we had some cool cameos, like Lynn Lee from Bad Cop, she's in it.
Wow.
Brenna, my wife, from The Last Gang, she's in it. We have like Ben Davis, who manages Face to Face and Me First in the Gimme Gimmes, like he's in it. My boy from Upper Downer, Bert, he's in it. Like it's a crew of like family that are all like on board for what we're trying to do here.
It's crazy to like, because I mean, SoCal, it's like I feel like that whole scene in SoCal, everybody knows each other some way from somebody, and you guys all know. And if you don't know these other bands, you guys know the same people that these other bands know. It's just like, it's like there's so much fucking people down there that know each other, man. It's like a big family, and you're in that world,
Yeah,
yes.
that's the way I look at it. I feel that way. It also means don't be a dickhead, because it's the scene is not as big as you think it is. So
no, for sure.
If you're acting a fool, you will get found out.
Oh, for sure. You had said Paul Minor, and is it that there's a band, the Mad Peaceful? Isn't he recording their? I think that he's recording their album currently.
Oh, dude, he's done Fear, he's done Adolescence. Yeah, he's a founding member of Death by Stereo. Like Paul's the fucking dude. I mean, you'll go in there, because this isn't. I've worked with him with other bands before, and he's so easy and fun to work with, and so fucking good. And you'll just wander in there for your session, and you'll see Davey Havoc in there doing stuff with him. And you're just like, and he's like, 18 years. He just celebrated 18 years. He's been,
wow.
In Orange County. To me, it's like there's Paul Minor and there's Cameron Webb, and they're both great in their own way. Having worked with both of them, you come out of it all the better, whichever one you work with. They're both great.
It's it just says here on his Instagram page, his credits include Newfound Glory, Zebrahead, H2O, Agnostic Front, CJ Ramones, and that's all he shows. But I'm like, yeah, those are all some good bands,
Yeah.
It's crazy though. I have a buddy who works in LA in the business, and he was working alongside Rick Rubin for a few years as an engineer. But to see Rick Rubin and people like that he'll say, Rick Rubin will tell you, oh, I don't know music. I just tell you what I think sounds good. And I'm like, this man just telling people what sounds good his whole life, and he's doing a good job at it. I'm like, man, I might be in the wrong business, because there's a lot of shit that I can hear. I could be making that kind of money.
No, and Rick was also right place, right time. I mean, in his dorm room in New York, he's spinning records and making basic beats, and happened to catch the ear of Run DMC and what the hell is that?
LL Cool J.
Yeah, not just him. He got in with the fucking
Beasties.
owner. The owner. Yeah, the Beasties. Beasties.
Yeah.
And he got in tight with all those guys, and
Mhm.
then went over to Slayer, then like Tom Petty. I
Johnny
mean,
Johnny
Cash.
Cash.
Yeah.
Like, come
He's
on.
done everything. That's what's kind of interesting is like Paul's a Paul's a musician. Like bass is his like main deal. Paul's the
Okay.
kind of cat that will give you a setup like on the spot if he knows your thing needs it. Perfect pitch, has great ideas for like harmonies and stuff like that. And Cameron Webb can play a bit too, but Cameron's more of the side of getting the best out of you is like his Jedi power. Like where he'll make you be as real as you can, which is why, and I know you and Brent talked about this. If you don't come in there prepared, you have to realize that of any young musicians that listen to this, it's your money that you're wasting,
Mhm.
right? First and foremost. But if you really want to be respectful about it, you're standing in a room, in Paul's case, with a guy that has done Newfound Glory, Zebrahead, fucking, Fear, all these
Yeah.
legendary bands. With Cameron, the guy's done No Effects, Bad Religion, Pennywise. I mean, he's worked with Adele, he worked with Michael fucking Jackson. And like this
Wow.
dude is like, you have his undivided attention. Why are you fucking around? Because they don't have to work with you, sort of a deal. It's money at the end of the day, but they can get money. I
Yeah.
guarantee you, there's a line of people waiting to record with them, and they gave you that weekend or that week to go in the studio. So I know one day we'll get back in the studio with Paul again when the budget
Uh-huh.
permits. And I know one day we'd love to, I'd love for Cameron Webb to work with Empire. And he expressed interest. And honestly, we were going to do our second record with him. And it just came down to look, there's only so much money. We're a DIY band.
Yeah.
This is before we got, signed. But even then, you know, we have the means to do it. It's coming out great. Like when we're done here, I'll send you a couple of the finished tunes so you can kind of
Oh
hear what
yeah.
the next one is going to sound like. We're calling it Strikes Back since it's our second record, you know?
I like that. I like that. It's like
Yeah.
that band Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza. They had Danza 1, then Danza 2, Electric Boogaloo, Danza 3, and then the Electric Boogaloo is obviously from the breakdancing movie, But I
Yeah.
I kind of like that kind of thing when bands do that. Um so you were talking about the lyrics earlier. Do all you guys have input on the lyrics? Like, do you write song lyrics and everybody in the band have song lyrics, or is it just you?
No, it's Cam, Jay, and I. We we're the three singers and we're the three lyricists. But how it kind of works is like we have a song off that first record called Sex Shop Music. And I had um music pretty much written. But I knew key wise, like it wasn't working for my key. And I have a Jay Hansel in the band. So I said, Jay, can you, sing on this one? And all I do is like woes. Him and I trade
Yeah.
verses on that song, you know? And he's like, what's this song about? And I told him. So we'll like whoever like comes in with the song, or if there's like a spot where you just go like, you know what, Cam's voice would sound better on this than mine, or maybe I sound better on it than Jay or whatever. And if someone already has like a portion of the song written, like
Mhm.
lyrically, we say, oh, what's this about? What are you writing about? And we kind of take that and kind of go from there, like,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, like Paper Moon, like that tune's about, growing up in a house of opioid abuse, that's a fun song. But then you have like songs like Repose, which is about like being young and crazy and dumb and being thankful for it as you've gotten older. It's just like learned from it, but moving on. But yeah, the three of us, we all write. And when it comes to, there really hasn't been pushback on lyrics. Like Jay or Cam aren't saying, what are you saying there?
Yeah.
You know, that would be where like a Paul or a Webb would come in handy, where they would just be like, what? Because I've seen it. I've been on the receiving end of it from Cameron, where like you'll write a lyric and he'll be like, that no. no, that doesn't work. Or you've already said it or something like that. And he's like, that, don't be lazy, give me something else, do something interesting, something like that. And
See, that's cool.
yeah. It's not this reputation of being a hard ass. He's a hard ass if you're unprepared because he's a human and this is his job, not because he's a dickhead, because he's not. If you go into your job,
yeah,
you're just not doing your job and your coworker's having to pick up the slack. I have a hard time believing your coworker is going to be like, no, it's cool, Russ. I got it.
no,
And,
yeah, you're right about that. They will not say that to me. They're gonna work their asses off. No, so so you said you worked with Cameron before. What was that project?
The Sleeping Sea King. We did our final record with him, and I played bass and sang backup in that band. And yeah, we did that record with him. And I've been lucky to be involved with 3 of the Last Gang's records, and they've all been recorded with Cameron also.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's some stuff in the future. Like we're going to re-record one of our songs off of Finding Common the Chaos, and we may end up using like his studio because there's so much vibe in it to do like a cool, like almost MTV Unplugged vibe to it.
Okay.
Like bring a bunch of our friends and family in, and then sit around in a semicircle and record this thing. It's something that's in the works right now, but
that's cool.
Yeah.
Do you do you have like all your videos and stuff? That's all that's all done in house too. You have people that do that, or you do that, or whatever.
No, we have our unofficial, our 6th member of the band is this dude Josh Roush, and Josh does all of our videos. He's doing all the new videos. We have more videos coming. He does them, but to have Josh on our side and on our roster, is, I can't say enough how much that dude means to this band, because like he'll come up and play bass with us on some songs so Jay can go in the crowd and go fucking nuts. And at the same time, like if you watched the last Clerks movie, and if let's say you bought it, like you have it and there's the behind the scenes, like Josh directed that. Like Josh has worked with Kevin. Yeah, he's worked with Kevin for years. And Kevin Smith even hosted our album release party for Finding Common the Chaos. Like,
what the fuck? That's cool.
Yeah, it's rad, and that comes through Josh. Like he's a pain in the ass, and I fucking love him. He'll always tell you exactly what he thinks, and he's very much, we wrote this new song called Spite that I just posted, like a live version that we did last week from a show, right? And he thinks it's like the greatest song we've ever written, and it's very much a kind of a tune. He wants all of our songs to be like that. And then when he hears a song like Repose, the song sucks, song sucks, So we know we're doing something right if he hates our song. And I mean that in the most loving way. Like he's a huge part of this project. I love that dude. Yeah.
It's crazy with videos and stuff nowadays, because it's so easy to make them compared to, like, say, 20 years ago when you were in a band trying to get somebody to do a video. Because now it's like everyone knows how to somewhat shoot video footage. You got a cell phone, you got this, you got that. I mean, you can make a video pretty quick. I mean, if you want a good quality video, yeah, they still take time. But I mean, people can knock out a video for every song off their demo, and it could be up, and all those videos could be up in like 2 weeks, Yeah,
it's a true story, dude. Yeah, that's why we're super thankful for him, because he has legit movie caliber gear, and he's the real deal, man. Like, and so every video you see that's on our site or on our YouTube page, he's done them. We've even done some road documentaries, like On the Road with Empire, and he's behind all that, and he will be, like, moving forward. Like he's the fucking man. He's got a new documentary. Like he has a movie that came out 2 years back called Wrong Reasons, and like Kevin's in it, and you have guys like David Koechner, he's in it, the dude from The Office, and our Champ from Anchorman, like he's in it, and he's got this new Michael Parks documentary about the actor who passed away not too long ago. That'll be coming out here shortly, you know. And he loves working with us, and it helps immensely because look, talking with you, you know, with Rachel or whatever, we're all at the mercy of the algorithm. So the more content, the more original content, good content you can put out, the better. And he's a huge part of that, dude. Sorry, I just love that guy.
No, you're good. I'm going to ask you. I don't think I asked you this, or I don't. And if you already said it, then I don't. I recall hearing it. But how did you meet him?
Him and Cam, our other guitar player, go way, 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 way back, like years and years back. But Josh and I hit it off because of the show Venture Brothers. We're both huge fans.
Nice.
Yeah, which, you know, I love that show, and he's a huge Venture Brother head too. And we were at a party at Cam's house, and either he overheard me or I overheard him just throw out a random quote from that show. And it was kind of like the Step Brothers Karate in the Garage situation. You know, we just become best friends kind of a deal. But the connection is from Cam. They were like roommates together. I mean, I'm talking, you know, decades they've known each other. But Josh is an Ohio boy. So when we do this Midwest tour at the end of April, like we're playing Dayton, which is close to the town he grew up in, you know, so he's helping bring some heads out to that show.
Yeah, I pulled his Wikipedia page up, and I was like, shows like, you know, there's some of the videos that he did, you know, Tim Armstrong, Niagara Lights, you know, Specials, fucking some band called Empire. Have you heard of those guys?
Yeah, a bunch of assholes.
But no, it's cool. Some of the stuff. Oh, he got what? Empire has Arco and Six. He did. Okay. Is there more that he's done for you guys?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
He's done Unite, Arc. We did a video for Unite, for Arco, for Paradise, for Six, for Pose. And we have one coming out. You know, Money just came out, and now Bitter Pills is next. That's our next single that's coming out.
I did watch the Money video. That was really well done. I like that. I have saved on my phone so I can watch. I meant to watch it today at work, but I got busy. But the 28th show, I have that on there to watch the live show, the live set.
Sure. Yeah.
I downloaded. I have it saved so I can watch it, but I'll probably save it for the plane and watch it on the plane. Give me that's 40 minutes of my flight time, you know?
Yeah, it's a good show. It's yeah. Let me know what you think. I'm interested to hear your feedback on it. That was a fun time. Redwood just upgraded all of their stage and sound. So we were stoked when we showed up and saw that they had just redone everything. So it was a fun night. That was a good show.
What's the plans for Empire? Do you guys want a tour? You guys are just gonna be weekend warriors?
We have the stuff that I can talk about. We are doing a Midwest tour with our buddy band Hartwells, who are label mates of ours. We're hitting Chicago, we're hitting Dayton, Ohio, and we're hitting Grand Rapids, Michigan. Just a 3-city little Midwest banger run. We have something planned for Europe this year for us, which is cool. I got to go over last summer and plant some flags, doing some acoustic shows over there. So we're excited to go over there. We're doing some one-offs. We're spending the rest of this month, March, just getting the album done and tight, like, and finished. And because we have that set to drop in June. The next 10 songs, and weekends are great. We have to be, you know, we've done a bunch of West Coast runs. Like we've gone all the way up to Bremerton, Washington. You know, we've done Iowa. We've done Oregon, all of California, Vegas. You know, so we're trying to get to some new spots in some new areas, and to get, you know, it's almost come like full circle again, where you have to just go out and ride the single and get in front of people. You know, I don't know if it's Dave Grohl or somebody. It might have been Dave Grohl. It was like the best advertisement you can do for your band is to go play live. Like and so we're firm believers in that, man. And the fact that I'm the baby at 40 years old, 2 of us are 50, like, and have kids and families and mortgages and shit like that. And everyone's spouses and support system is totally down for what we're doing right now. And it's great. It's absolutely
see that's cool, man. And sometimes sometimes, it's like Brent was saying too, man. He took, with 12 years off before he came back into music because of the responsibility life, and now now they're doing their thing,
Yeah.
That is a thing though when you get older though. I mean, you got responsibilities. If you got kids and you got a job, is your job pretty cool with you taking time off?
Yeah, man. I work for Yamaha, the music side of Yamaha, and we go back to the office starting in April for like 3 days a week. But the cat that I report to, my boss, has been great about letting me work on the road because all of my accounts are based in New York anyway. So he's been awesome about it. He's very, very cool about it. The more notice, dude, it's like any boss. If I say to him, hey, next week I need the week off, huh? It's like give some heads up, and he's cool about it. And that's the same with everyone in this band. Like, there's 5 of us with the keys player being added. And like he's been over in Shanghai, China for work for the last month. So he hasn't been at our last couple of shows. We always sound better with him, but we can still do gigs without him.
Yeah.
That sort of a deal,
That's pretty cool, man. Like, when you guys release this new album, I mean, are you going to try to get like distribution in Europe, like with Spam or with, some other labels out there, are you guys going to do it all yourself?
I am, Stefan or Sabam. I've talked with him before and he's a great guy. Like he goes way back. Like you said, everyone knows everyone out here in SoCal.
Yeah.
And like, I got to chat with him. I think Eunice from T-Mom Merch, she's based out of Germany. And also Andy at Cortex Records, who owns Cortex. He already carries our first record. So we have some cats over there that are already behind us and Empire to help out with distribution, which is great.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it's just knowing folks that know folks, or just meeting them, myself and getting to hang out with them. Like a cool, quick story. I went over to Europe last June, and initially because to meet up with my wife's band, who was on a 30-day run. They were on a bunch of the last NoFX Punk and Drublic shows, and a ton of them were in Europe. So she was gone for like a month. And I was like, hey, I'll just fly over. We had it all planned. I'll meet you when you guys get to Berlin. So Josh and I flew over to Berlin, and we had a couple of days in the city, like by ourselves, and went to Cortex Records. And the owner, Andy, like not only, I was still drinking at the time, not only did he's like giving us beer, he, took the record, he has it like there in the store, he hooked us up with merch, and then he goes, how much of the city have you seen yet? And we told him, and he goes, I'll be right back. Give me like 15 minutes. So him and our now buddy Musti, like he comes pulling up in a legit 60s Ford Mustang convertible, a black one. And he goes, let me show you Berlin. And Josh had his camera and filmed the whole thing. Wow. And Josh didn't just use like this camera. Josh took out his fucking like one of his diesel cameras. And Andy gave us like a tour around the city of, Brandenburg Gate, the Reichstag, all this shit where how the wall, because he was 14 when the wall came down. And like, wow. And we got to one spot and his fucking car died. And because like his gas gauge was busted, so it ran out of gas. So we like pushed his car off to the side of the road. And that dude, Musti's like, hey, let me just give you guys, we'll go on foot from here while Andy gets his car fixed. And the dude's like showing us, Brandenburg Gate, and they left like the bullet holes in it from when the Allied forces invaded. They're still there in the gate. Yeah, dude. Like all this stuff, like why, what's written on their parliament building, and I like couldn't be more, they couldn't have been more welcoming. And even there was, when we're planning this like Europe tour, we were trying to make some empired art. And I had one design in mind, and I was like, hey, we're looking to do something with this eagle. Is this a bad eagle? Like when it comes
yeah,
to,
I got what you're saying. Yeah.
so I just asked him, and he's like, oh, I wouldn't have anyone in my shop wear this or represent this. And I'm like, fuck, shit, okay. Man, I had no, ignorant American, had no fucking idea, any of that, and this dude works with me. He's one of the most known hardcore spots overseas. And the fact that this guy's like not just answering me, but answering me quick and being super welcoming. And you heard our record. There's like hardcore-ish moments, but it's really more alternative punk, maybe skate punk. Like it's I wouldn't say hardcore would be one of our genres. I wouldn't describe us that way. We may have a dude from one of the most hardcore badass bands ever with Jay. We're getting the melodic Jay, in this band, Twilight Transmission Jay. And so, yeah, I'm giving you these long-winded answers, but we do have folks over there that are down to help us distribute and get the word out there. And super, 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 super thankful for that,
Yeah, that Cortex is like, everybody knows that damn label. They do. It's like, you want something, and if you want something from Europe, man, that's the best place to look is there,
Yeah, and it's not a big shop, but it's a great shop. It's amazing, like right in the heart of Kreuzberg, the District 36, and it's so cool.
I lived in Germany when the wall came down, and I was just turned 14 because my birthday was like my birthday was 2 days before the wall came down, and yeah, it was pretty cool. Of course, living over there when it happened, you went from seeing the Germans' nice cars, and then you see all the East German cars coming over, and they all look like little cardboard boxes, and then everybody's trying to sell you a piece of the wall, Somebody probably just spray painted their concrete and is like sledging it up. And they're like, all right, here's a piece of the wall, sir.
Yeah, man. And now it's cobblestones. It's this wide, and it's cobblestones running where it used to be, and they left some parts up. Now they're just like art exhibits, where they left it up. I fucking love Berlin. My wife and I would love to, like, when we're ready to retire over in Berlin. Like, I love that city, dude. Like, it's so great. How long were you over there? What were you over there for? Just
family? I was there for 3.5. Yeah, my stepfather was in the military. He was in the Army. So we got stationed over there. We were stationed in California for 8 years of his career. And then we went to Germany, then went back to California. And then in 93, they closed that base and we came to Clarksville, Tennessee, which is,
my dad was in the Army. So he was stationed in Stuttgart, which is South Germany. And
that's where we were stationed at.
The first 2 years of my life was in Stuttgart.
Do you know where?
It was, fuck it. The translation of the name is like small hill, but I know it was Stuttgart.
Yeah, there's a few bases around there, and we were stationed at Nelligan Barracks, which is outside of Stuttgart. But then when I went to high school and middle school, I went to high school and middle school in Stuttgart at the military bases there. I enjoyed it. Holy shit! Sorry, it just got really windy. My whole damn house is shook.
Oh damn! All right.
Yeah. We're in the middle of the weird weather right now in Tennessee, where it could snow today and then be 60 degrees tomorrow, and then it's weird. You said you moved. Go ahead.
You before we get back on that, there's a band called Itchy, and they're from Stuttgart. They used to have it was like Itchy Poo Pants was their name for a long time, but they just cut it down to Itchy, and they're a trio, and they're fucking badass. They're so good. Itchy, like Itchy and Scratchy. Itchy.
Is it 3 dudes?
Yeah.
Let me see the right one.
Fucking great. Like if you look them on Spider, they're huge over there. like huge. And I don't think they've
Well,
done
yeah,
a
I think this is them. This has they have 188,000 monthly listeners, so it's probably them.
Yeah, they're amazing. I got to meet those dudes at a Punk in Drublic, and they're the nicest fucking guys. And like their music's so good. I didn't really get into them until after I met them. You know, like we were over there, and my wife was been raving about them for years, and I didn't like take the time to listen to them. And oh, they're great. They're so good.
Let me ask you this real quick with your wife. Did they play the Denver Punk and Drublic Fest?
Yeah.
The one where all hell broke loose during the daytime and the storm? I was there.
Yeah, they all got stuffed into that building behind it, and like,
yep,
yeah,
yeah, that was yeah. My buddy lived in Denver, and he was like, "You want to go to NoFX?" I'm like, "Fly me out." So he flew me out, and we went to 2 days. But I wasn't disappointed, but I was a little disappointed just because we didn't get the full 2 NoFX sets. We got 2 miniature ones on day 2, you know, which I get it. You have to do what's best for safety, but I got to see Suicidal. I got to see MXPX. You know, I didn't get to see Comeback Kid because their time got swapped and they ended up closing the show with Teenage Bottle Rocket, which those 2 bands were supposed to play earlier. And but my buddy didn't want to stick around because he wasn't really into Comeback Kid or Teenage Bottle Rocket. And I was just, a little tear came down my face. I was like, I really want to see those guys.
Oh man, seeing Wake the Dead done live is a religious experience, brother.
just to see the fucking those pylons. They're endless, you know. It's just like, but yeah, and they're coming to Nashville again too, and I'm gonna go to that one. I love watching Comeback Kid live. They're so fun. No matter if there's 5 people at the show or 5,000 people at the show, you're getting the same fucking show, you know.
And they're good dudes, man. Like they're I met them in Florida at Fest with my old band Halicab played Fest a couple years back, and I got to go backstage, and my wife was doing a fill-in and playing with Bad Cop at the time, and Bad Cop was playing on the same stage as Comeback Kid, and like Lynn and Stacy and Myra from Bad Cop, they know fucking everybody. I'm talking hot water music, like it doesn't matter, they know fucking everybody, and this was right before all shit hit the fan with Anti-Flag, and like Anti-Flag was on this show too, and like so we're like hanging out with like Comeback Kid and like all those cats, and those dudes and Comeback Kid could not have been fucking nicer. They came off the stage because it was that Florida thick humid weather, and they were just like drenched, and this is coming from a guy that like sweats dialing a phone, let alone playing on a fucking stage like that. And they were, they closed with Wake the Dead, and you would have thought everyone who was into it, they were into the show, right? But when that song hit, it was like this second gear hit in everyone's brain, and they lost their fucking minds. Everyone in front of that Bo Diddley stage just went off. And he, of course, goes into he probably sings like 2 sentences of that song, and the rest of the time,
yep. They just released that 25 or 20-year anniversary edition of that song with him singing on it. Have you heard it?
I haven't heard that yet. No.
Yeah, because Andrew didn't sing on the album, obviously, but then so the 25th anniversary or 20 anniversary he did. And it's like, wow, you hear him singing it live for so many years. Now to actually hear him recorded, it works. It works. It's pretty dope. So
I gotta check it out, man. They're my entrance music. Like, well, not for my new guy, my new character. I use a Muse song, but for a while it was Wake the Dead. Like that was that was my shit.
What Muse song do you use?
Supremacy from Second Law. It's like a Bond villain theme song, which kind of works for what I'm doing. So
I didn't really get into, I was one of those guys, oh no, I'm not listening to them. I don't like them. Even though they're good music, it's just because nobody else was listening to it. I stuck with my hardcore world, my punk rock world. When you get older, almost like the fuck was I thinking? This is good fucking music. Like the Muse, Coldplay. I was always into Coldplay. I was always into Oasis, but a lot of other bands like the Muse and those bands, man, fuck, the Muse is great. I want to see them live now.
Yeah, they were a trio forever, and I think they have like when they play live, they may have an extra member on stage now. But Second Law is great. I first caught wind of them. There's the first thing I ever heard from them was Stockholm Syndrome, off of I think the album name is Absolution, and it was in high school. I was in high school when it came out, and I've been into them ever since. Like, they're great. They're fucking and they're genius musicians too.
Oh yeah. I know this is, when you get older, there's never really one anymore. But what would you have said your guilty pleasure was?
Dave Matthews.
Man, that's a good one.
Yeah, Dave Matthews is my my guilty pleasure, but I've never hidden the fact that I like him. I get endless amounts of shit for liking him. But then I taught myself how to play and sing at the same time to Dave Matthews stuff. I'm not trying to sing like that dude, but I'm like, no, he's weird on guitar and his timing's weird and how he sings over it's weird. So I took Before These Crowded Streets and I learned the whole record. And specifically I focused on this song, The Stone, which I'll to anyone that's listening to this, if you add distortion to the guitar of The Stone, it may be one of the heaviest songs ever written.
Well, one thing about that dude, man, like that whole band, like watch them play, they don't play simple shit and they play some heavy stuff, but it's not heavy, like that drummer is a beast. And he's like, the drummer is like 62, I think I want to say, because I looked it up when they did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they just murdered it up there on that stage. They just go ham, But I always thought they were talented. When I was younger and doing a lot of drugs, Dave Matthews Band was always that band we would go drive in the country listening to when we were fucked up because it was just so trippy,
Yeah, well, I was a jam band dude for a while. That's why I got into Dave Matthews Band. So like Fish, The Dead, all that shit. I got into. So that's why whenever I hear the word guilty pleasure, I'm like, yeah, I dig them. And if I ever have a guitar near me and if someone's talking shit, I'm like, okay, you try to play this. Yeah. Okay, you try to play and now try to sing while playing this. Like,
and then try to play it, sing it, and then dance, because he'd be doing that little dance with his feet, and then he does all kinds of crazy shit. But yeah,
he's a weird fucking dude. I won't ever say he's not, but I'm just saying, like, I dig him. Hall & Oates. Like, I'm an old R&B.
Oh fuck
I'm a that dude I mentioned earlier, Godilla. He's my boy Tay, and he got me in when I first met him in high school. He's the guy that got me into like Tribe Called Quest and Cannabis and proper Jay-Z and Nas and all that shit. Like he exposed me to that world because I already loved like 60s and 70s R&B and soul music. Like that's really why a lot of Empire songs have a lot of jazz chords in them, is because I'm a sucker for old R&B, or jazz.
Oh, dude. 90s R&B was where it was at, what I'm saying? I think that was a good era for R&B. I feel like I come from like my musical background's like the same. Like you said, jam bands. I wasn't really so much in jam bands, but when I first started out, I was into, like I said, hip hop, like older hip hop in the 80s. So like LL Cool J, Big Daddy Kane, Fat Boys, but and then I got introduced to Iron Maiden and Metallica, and then I didn't like it when I first heard it though. I was like, oh no! And then my mom's friend's son was taking the records with them, and I was like, hey, can you leave those here? And then when he left, I sat down and I listened to him, and I fucking it was over with after that. And once I heard Justice for All and Number of the Beast, I was sold on fucking heavy metal. And then my next thing I got introduced to was the Misfits, Black Flag, and 7 Seconds.
Okay.
Like literally months apart from each other. And then Suicidal Tendencies. And then I just went to the fucking record store, and I lived in Germany at this time. I would just go to the record store and be like, that looks cool. That looks cool. And I go home and hopefully it was cool, you know?
Yeah.
But
yeah, man, where Eagles Dare, where is a big inspiration on one of our new songs from
the bass line?
The
yeah. First song I ever learned on the bass.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's our bass player is the one that I had it written one way, and he's like, well, "Why don't we try to do the Where Eagles Dare deal?" And he did that, and it made the song so much better and cooler.
There is a punk band back in the day in Clarksville, and they did a cover of Misfits' "We Are 138." But instead of saying "We Are 138," we have a road called 41A, and he's like, "We are on 41A." Hey. So it worked, you know. And that they would cover that, you know, and he would sing "I'm on 41A" instead of "We Are 138."
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Bruce, what's one of your most memorable shows that you've played in any of your bands?
Sure. We got it would be with Empire. We got to play there's two that stand out, like two that stand out. One is Alex's Bar here in Long Beach. We got to play with Bad Cop and Get Dead, and our label mates, our now label mates, Hartwell's, opened that show, and it was packed. And I really consider that our like coming out party, because you know we probably sold 20 of those tickets. The rest of them were Get Dead and Bad Cop, right? So we had all these new fans to play in front of, and that was super special and amazing. And then we got to play punk rock bowling last year with Agrolites at a club show, and that was put together by Josh, who's tight with Jesse. Like when you looked up his Wikipedia earlier, and that was cool. The reason why it was cool is you can look at all these like analytics and shit, you know, if you have like Spotify for artists, and you can see like who's listening to your stuff and where. Yeah. But when you show up to a place and you're playing a new place, and there's more than there's like half the room are singing your songs back to you, like that's still kind of fucks with me, you know? Yeah. And that's like so cool. And then the third one would be I got to play acoustic over in Antwerp in Belgium. I got to do an acoustic set last summer, and that was fucking cool. Like that was really cool. And so yeah, those I think those are probably what stand out for me. We've done some cool shit, dude, and I'm proud of what we've done. But so far, those ones would be the wow, you know.
When you do your acoustic stuff, do you do Empire stuff, or do you do other stuff as well?
I do Empire stuff. I do some solo stuff because I'm working on a solo thing, and then I throw in covers. You know, like I'll do like a Pogues tune, like "Dirty Old Town," but I like to bring up other members from other bands. So I'll be like, "Hey, do you know this song or whatever?" and have them come up and like sing with me. And why that show was so special to me that I didn't get to is because my wife is a guest singer on our song Fences. And she came up and sang that song with me. And we would do Take Warning from Op Ivy. And she came up and sang that with us, you know, when we did an Alex's Bar show I told you about. But we had never sang on stage together really before then. So it was just super meaningful to have her like come up and sing that song, you know? Cause like we're cool and we're doing cool shit and I'm proud of us, but like her band is like the 50 levels above where we are. Like when we grow up, we want to be the Last Gang. Like that's how Empire, you know, it's like Last Gang and Bad Cop are like, okay, that's what's next, you know?
The Last Gang. I'm gonna check them out. I've seen the name. I've seen the name, so I know of the band, but I'm gonna definitely check them out. And I don't think I know I didn't see them at Punk and Drublic, but so this year you guys are working on this new album. You got a tour in Europe That's all you can say. Um,
And then this
what's
Midwest
what's
deal at the end of April, yeah.
yeah, the 3 dates, yeah. What's the big picture for you guys? What do you guys want to do with the band? You guys, like I said, are you just like you guys want to do this full time, or you can't do it full time anymore, and you're just doing it for like a boys' night out kind of hobby?
Right now, we're doing it for the love of the art, and we've
Yeah,
discovered after being in so many bands collectively for years, we all know how special this one is, and
yeah,
how fast and we write, and how good we really dig the songs, and we put on a fucking show. But we want to do this full time. There's no doubt. If there was a way that could happen, I would love it if
yeah,
we're just, when you come through California, and you're a promoter that's doing like a festival, we're the band, one of the first bands you call up to go play a festival stage. And, we already are getting our name out there as far as Long Beach is concerned. So if a band's coming through, they'll kind of hit us up to see if we can jump on a show with them to help bring some heads in. And we just want to have that same vibe everywhere. We're kind of getting it in the city, in your old stomping grounds. And I'd love, just keep expanding that, man. I would really love for us to be able to go out, because right now we break even on tours that we do, which is fantastic. But I'd love to come home with some extra money in the pocket. And, I think at the end of the day, making records that we're proud of. And Sam King from Get Dead has been using this hashtag called support real shit. And that's us. What we're writing is us. I'm not trying to be anybody but us. And that's what I fucking love about us. If our next record, we want it to be a fucking hip hop country record, it's going to be a hip hop country record. There's not going to be, well, that's not us. If someone walks in with a tune and we explore it and that's what it turns into, then that's what it turns into.
Yeah, and that's cool that you can have a band though that everyone is like kind of like that, because sometimes we've been in bands all through our life, and you'll have some guy that nope, there's one person just won't. Everybody else is on board, and there's that one person who's just like no, and you might that could have been like the song that you guys were going to put out, but that one person held everybody back. I've had that. I've had that in some bands before that I've been in. One
tons
person.
of times, brother. Tons of times.
Yeah.
This is my first band being a quote front person. I was always the behind the scene, the guy over on the side of the stage. This is really like the band where I'm having to be like put out in front like that. And this is the first band where we have differences of opinion. I'm not going to sit here and say that we don't.
Oh yeah.
But like writing songs, there's a lot of trust and like, okay, yeah, when we were deciding singles, it wasn't a debate. It was like, oh, it's these. Oh yeah, of course it's those, and if we want to go up there because, someone, dude, the musicality in this band, everyone listens to fucking everything. I think if there's one thing that people don't listen to in this band, it's like new pop country.
Yeah.
Anything pre-1980, we're all about it as far as country goes. But then kind of after that, you're like, I'm not a Chattahoochee guy, like that's just not my deal.
You mean you didn't come in like a wrecking ball? No. I'm literally 45 minutes outside of Nashville.
Sure.
So towards the Kentucky border. So yeah, that's all down there, but there is a good scene down there for punk. There's a good scene down there for hardcore, great scene for metal. The hardcore scene in Nashville has always been pretty fucking popping. We got some good stuff that came out of there. You heard of Love Is Red?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're in Nashville, and
well, and also we would love to play Nashville. And let me be straight up. Like I would throw down on singing some like old country in a heartbeat, because I may not dig like what I call pop country, but the players or your session people, you wouldn't touch session players. Like you'd be a fool to think otherwise. Like I would love to sit in. The whole reason why I want to go to New Orleans is so I can just go sit in on guitar with whatever the fuck's on stage,
Yep. That'd be dope.
I love that. I would love that.
I've never been there. Never been to Louisiana. I lied. When we were driving from California to Tennessee, we went to Louisiana because my stepdad had a buddy from the army that lived down there, and he cooked us crawfish.
Okay.
Big ass thing. All you heard was squealing from them dropping them in the water. And I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. But they were delicious.
I've driven through Louisiana. When I moved out to California, we drove, my buddy and I.
Uh-huh.
So I've driven through it, but that almost doesn't count. It's like
no.
I've been to Denver because I was in the airport for a layover. That shit don't count. You know, that shit don't count.
You were just I had something I was gonna say. Oh well. So there's some bands in Nashville. I'll send you links, but there's some bands that to check out. God damn it! What the Graveyard Kids? Check them out. They're fucking awesome. Great stuff. They would fit really well out in SoCal. They have a great sound to them. Yeah. The Catastrophes. They're dropping a new album here shortly. Second Self. They just got signed to Punkerton Records.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
They're from Nashville. Just another band from Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is going towards Louisville, called Trash Devils. They're pretty good punk bands. So they're all really cool guys. And they would, if you guys ever wanted to come out, definitely those would be the dudes I would say hit up. But I'll send you their information.
Yeah, I was gonna say message me those because this is how I book all of our shows is conversations like this and like what venues because when I'm booking us shows, I'm not looking for theaters. I'm looking for the 100 to 300 capacity spots. Mm-hmm. So if you put 50 heads in that joint, it's a fucking good time. That's what I'm looking for. So like we're doing. Like that Midwest run, right? The 24th is Mulligan's Pub in Grand Rapids. The 25th is Liars Club in Chicago. And then the 26th, the last show is Blind Bob's in Dayton. And those are all strategically picked and they're going to be a fun fucking time. And I've never been to Nashville. So I would love the first time that I go to be on tour and to play with any of those bands that you just mentioned. Because if you dig them, I probably dig them. So
man. And I know most of those dudes. The dudes, or the singer and guitar player of not the Get Up Kids, the Graveyard Kids. I've known him since he was 16 years old in hardcore bands when he was young, Okay. So now he's in his mid to late 30s, and he's still doing a damn thing, man. Still sounding good. They got a video out, everything, man. They're probably one of my favorite Nashvilles, just because he's a homie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what's like you said you're from Long Beach?
Anaheim is where I live.
Okay. What's the scene like out there? Is it cool? Like a good scene?
Yeah, Long Beach in particular. Anaheim is coming up. It's got a good hardcore scene, Orange County.
Yep.
But Long Beach, like you have like if you look at the Hay Fever record band, the bands on that label with us, Stoke Signals, Hartwells, Upper Downer. If you check out LA Crimes, like there's a lot of really, really great bands and everyone's super supportive. And then you got these brand new up and comers like Saint Shivers. Or some bigger bands like Taken Days or like the Venomous Pinks or the Last Gang or like Bad Cop. All these bands are in the same hood, for the most part. So, but like I actually just messaged Brent earlier today. I got something in the works for the end of May to see if they'd be down to do, But the scene's good. Everybody's cool with everybody. So when you're putting together a show or from booking a show or putting it, the first thing I look for is just no drama. One,
for you.
Drawing, I already know if they draw or not, and just trying to make everyone kind of rise together at the same time. But, you also want to make sure you're at the peak of that wave if you can be,
I hear you.
Scene's good, dude. The scene's good. What I would this conversation has made me like think, man, I would love to get more into. I know there's a good hip hop scene out here, and I'm just not connected to it at fucking all. So go get co-defendants is kind of like a gateway drug for me. I know they're Vegas based, but like that's there's some stuff that we're working on. Probably not for this record, but we're gonna need some talent on that. Jay can do some Bad Brain shit, level shit vocally. Yeah, he can. But
yeah,
it'd be cool to get someone on it. Whether it could be Chesky or Sam or something like that. But I haven't gotten any proper hip hop out here in a long time. I just find out about shit, like everybody else does.
I'm still. I mean, I still listen to hip hop, but I always go back to the roots, man. Go back to the '90s. You know what I'm saying? That '90s era of hip hop. And anything from the Bay, I fuck with. But the '90s hip hop, man, there was a lot of good shit back then. I mean,
yeah.
You can't go wrong with Wu-Tang ever.
You can't, but as far as newer stuff, you can't go wrong with Damn from Kendrick Lamar.
That's a great record, man.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it really fucking is.
Like, there's a lot of cool SoCal hip hop like those bands. So, like, I guess, him, obviously Nipsey was cool, you know what I'm saying? Still cool. There's a lot of good shit out there, man. That kind of hip hop, not a lot of them. I don't like some of the mumble stuff.
I don't either.
I like the hip. I like hip hop. Hip hop.
I'm a beat first guy, and then I want to understand what you're saying. I'm a lyrics guy second. Give me a good beat first, and then let me get into what you're saying. And that's with any genre. That's not exclusive to hip hop. But if I can't fucking understand you, then it's hard for me to get behind you.
I hear you. You gotta know what you're singing with.
Uh-huh.
Well, Bruce, man, we've been chatting for a little while. Got some stuff out the way. Where can everybody find your band and you and whatnot on the old interweb?
Sure, you can. Instagram's our main page. It's Empired Music. So Empired with a D on the end, music on Instagram. There is empiredband.com. We do have a website that I desperately need to update. Shame on me. And I'm on Instagram, just Bruce Zebal. On Instagram, you can find me. And then also check out Santino Brothers for if you're a pro wrestling head and you want to see the spot that, Brody King showed up to and said, teach me how to wrestle. That's Santino Brothers based out of Hill Gardens. And we're on Fight TV. And you can check us out there. I'm Michael Revenant, and you're welcome for the show that you're about to see because I'm the guy that puts it on.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Well, Bruce, man, I enjoyed this conversation we had. We'll have to do it again maybe when the album comes out. Yeah. We can hype it up a little, when we get off the air, I have something else I'm going to mention. But yeah, man, I appreciate you taking the time out and chat with me. Sorry, we a little delay, but
all good.
It all worked out. All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time. Until next time, brother. Peace.
Thanks, Russ.